guys, this is Harry with UBR Tech, and today's video is going to be how to replace your Scar trigger with a Geissele Super Scar trigger. Before we get started, I just wanted to say I am not a professional. I'm not a gunsmith. If you are not confident in doing this install, please take this to a gunsmith and have them install your trigger. Now that that's out of the way, let's get back to the video. So what tools you're going to need are 3/16 long Allen wrench, which is like that, and you're also going to need a small flathead screwdriver, and you're also going to need a large punch. This thing right here, this is a multi-tool that has every type of tool or whatever you'll need to do any type of work with a scar, so that's why I have this. And this is what I'll be using, but if you don't have this, it's not a big deal. So to begin with, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that your gun is on fire, and also you're going to make sure you do not pull the trigger while you're doing this, because you don't want the hammer to fly forward and crack the lower. So you're going to try to keep your fingers away from the trigger. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the small screwdriver and you're going to unscrew this screw right here. Keep in mind you only have to do the right hand, the shooter's right, which is this side. You don't have to do the left side. Okay, and then once you take that out, you can see it's like threaded at the top and no thread at the bottom. And so keep in mind the threads always go on the top when you have to go put that back in. So I put that in my container, and then you can take this part off. Now if you can't simply just remove it with your fingers, which seems like I cannot, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your screwdriver, your flathead screwdriver, and you're going to try not to mar the lower, but you're going to try to get underneath the lower and kind of pry it off just like this. Oh. You're going to try not to shoot it across the room like I did. Okay, so now I got the safety back, put it in my container. So then also what you're going to do is now you're going to push this part through, so this way it just comes right on out, just like this. And it comes right on out. And then put this again inside your container. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your small screwdriver and you're going to put it right in here, like so, and you're going to slide this piece back, okay? And then you're going to lift this up like that, and then you're just going to lift it out. That's it. And then once you have that done, just like I said before, you weren't going to pull the trigger, now you are, but the way you're going to do it is you're going to put your thumb over the hammer like this and brace the hammer, and you're going to pull the trigger. And then when you pull the trigger, the hammer's going to come forward and you're going to guide it forward softly. You don't want to just pull that trigger and let it slam forward, because again, like I said, you could accidentally crack your lower. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your hole punch, and you're going to take this and you're going to push this right here, this pin goes all the way through to this side. You're going to hold the hammer down, but you're not going to put pressure. You're just going to push this all the way through like this. Take this pin out. So see, it looks like that. I'll put this aside in my container. Okay, next what you're going to do is there is this piece right here, right, that also goes all the way over here. You could see that it's lined up right over here. So almost what you did with this portion, you're going to have to do something similar. So what you're going to have to do is push this pin over, right? And then once you get it far enough over, then this will slide out. So this piece right here, I don't know if you can see that, this piece will slide out, and you'll slide it forward like this, just like that. And then just slide it forward. You don't have to take it out, just slide it forward so it looks like this. Okay, and it's just gonna, and it connects to here, this rod or this pin right here, so it just stays forward, okay, until we're done. So then what you do is you pull your hammer up and out, just like that, okay, and then what you do is you take it out of this pin, so you can see the spring is attached to the hammer just like this, just like that. That's how it attaches, okay? You're gonna take this out and you're gonna put the hammer to the side. So back to this, you're gonna have to pull this pin out. This retains the spring. There's two sides of this. There's the big hole and the small hole. Okay, we're gonna put that in our bin. And so the next thing you're gonna do is see this detent right here. This piece is not really held in by anything. You might just have to turn it over and it should fall out. You give it a little shake and it should fall out. And that's what the detent looks like. Okay, that's your safety detent. So you put that in your container. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your screwdriver, or if you have a small punch, but again, you don't have to have a small punch. You just push this spring out. So what I do is I put my thumb down on the trigger, the existing trigger down there, put my finger just to brace it, and then I push this out. And then on the other side, you can see the pin is coming out. Pull that all the way out. This is what it looks like. Put it to the side, and then just take your trigger out. And that is it. If your screw right here is not flush with the lower, then you'll have to use the supplied screw for the handle, for the scar handle. So that's the next step here. You could see it down there, right there. You're gonna get your 3/16 in there. And once you get it, turn it and unscrew it. And as you can see, there's this nut here, there's a flat edge, and then there's the rounded edge. That rounded edge faces upward, the flat is facing downward. Okay, and you're gonna use that same nut for the handle. So what you're gonna do is take this out, put it to the side, and then take this, and this is what you're gonna use for the handle. You can see it's shorter than the stock one. So you're gonna use the shorter one so it doesn't interfere. So now the new screw is in there, line it up like that, and then start screwing it in. You don't have to worry about screwing this too tight, just make it nice and snug. You don't have to put a ton of force on it because it's a pretty long screw and it's going to keep it where it should be. It's not going to come loose. And then, so as you can see, right down there, that screw is now flush and it's not interfering at all. And this is on really tight. So cool. So now the next thing we have to do is put in our new Geissele trigger, and we just have to do everything in reverse. Okay, so this is the new Geissele trigger, and it's pretty much self-contained. It's going to be a little easier to install because, as you can see, the stock one wasn't really that, like, it doesn't stay together. You have to put this back together if you want to put that back in. So at least with this, the spring is wrapped around the actual trigger, and it's going to be a little bit easier to put this back in. So what you're going to do is you're going to drop this trigger into the handle just like this. So you're going to just line things up. So this way, everything in there looks good as far as lining up with the holes. And so as you can see, you see that little silver piece? You're gonna have to line that up with both sides, just like that. And so I'm holding the trigger with my 2 fingers. And you're gonna take the pin, the trigger pin, and you're gonna push this in. You're gonna wiggle it around till you get it in there. And then as you can see, that bar comes out, and that's what was in the original. Oh, and it just goes flying. So that's not what you're supposed to do, but it's supposed to push that out. So now the trigger is in place. Now, I'm sure you can see this, but see these 2 pieces that are part of the spring, you want to make sure they're pushed to the sides. So you want it to look like this. So see how like the 2 pieces of the spring are on the outside facing the walls of the lower? That's the way you want it, because sometimes they will go towards the trigger, and you don't want that, okay? Just make sure everything looks lined up underneath here, and which it does. Next step is to put your D10 in there. So you're gonna put the little spring down here like that, and there you go, it's in. Next, we're going to take the piece that held the spring. Also, you're gonna make sure that the bigger hole, see there's a small hole and a bigger hole, the bigger hole faces forward. So you're gonna put it in here, and you're gonna slide this all the way through. And like I said, the bigger hole stays facing forward, just like this. Okay, your next step is to install the hammer. This is your hammer. You can tell there's 2 sides. There's one with a little tail and nothing on the front. The tail of the hammer is going to face the rear of the lower. So it's going to go like this, okay? So what you're going to want to do is, there's this little piece that jets out on the side. You're going to take your spring, and this little opening, you're going to attach it to, just like that, attach it to the hammer. And then you're going to take the other side, oops, you're going to take the other side, and you're going to put it in to this pin that we just had here, into the larger hole, just like that. Then you're going to put the hammer into the lower, but you're going to kind of put some pressure, you're going to put some pressure going this way, and you're going to be pushing downward so it lines up with this hole, so we can get this pin into the lower and the hammer. So there's 2 sides, the one with the little lip at the top, that should be facing the left side, and then so the one without the lip goes in like this. Okay, and then you have to find it on the other side right here. There you go, and it's in. That's it. Okay, and then that's what your hammer installed, and that's what it looks like. And as you can tell, if I pull the hammer back, it locks. Put your finger over it, pull the trigger, and then you can see that it goes forward. So that's, you just want to make sure that works, but again, make sure you're not letting it slam forward. So I forgot about this piece, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna slide this rear pin that holds the spring until it comes out. So this piece right here, as you can see, it's got this little opening right here, and then this pin right here that holds your spring, you want to get this around this portion of the pin. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop it down, and then as soon as that opening, as soon as it gets in the opening like that, push the pin forward. Now remember, it's going to be a little tough just because it's under pressure. Okay, so there you go. It's under tension, I should say, from the spring. But there you go, it's in. And as you can see, that little metal piece is around there like it was before. Now again, this is what my scar has. Most of the scars that I've noticed on YouTube, they do not have this plate on there at all. They only have this plate right here. That's the only one that they have. For some reason, I got this in 2018, so maybe this is a new thing that they're doing. I'm not sure, but again, it's there. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cock the hammer. Okay, so now we're gonna install this plate right here, which goes right here. right around this pin right here on the left side. You're going to slide this downward. So it goes downward just like this. Then we have to slide it forward. Okay, just like that. So that's how it looks once you slide it forward. Next, you're going to take your safety, this part, and you're going to insert it on the left-hand side. And you're going to make sure when you insert it, you're going to insert it on the fire selection. So it goes all the way through. Now again, there's the detent. And you're probably going to have to push that down a little bit for it to go in the hole. And once you get that placed down, then you can slide this all the way in. There we go. Boom, now it's in, and it's still on. It's on fire. Now we have to take this piece and put it back on and see how it goes. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep your thumb on this side and putting pressure, or your palm or whatever you can put pressure. So this way when you push this down, the safety doesn't get pushed through, okay? Get this little screw, okay, and we're gonna put it back into this hole. Now again, it can only go one way. As you can see, there's no flathead at the bottom. It's only at the top. So this can only go in one way. So you put this piece in like this, the screwdriver, and you're going to screw this back in, just like so. You don't need to use any type of Loctite, just knock it in there. Now that the safety has been installed, put it on safe and hold your thumb over the hammer, pull the trigger. Nothing happens, the hammer doesn't go forward, and then you know that your safety's still working. Push the safety to fire, put your finger over or your thumb over the hammer, pull the trigger and hold the trigger, and then let it go forward, pull it back down, and then let go of, like, release your trigger finger, and you feel the reset. So now you know that it's working. And now just attach this to the rifle and do the function test. Make sure the hammer's down and the pin is out. I'll attach the lower to the rifle, and then once that's done, now you can do a function test. A few times just to prove there's nothing inside the barrel. Again, put the gun on safe, pull the trigger, nothing happens. Put the gun on fire, pull the trigger, and then you feel the gun fire. You can rack it again, and then pull, hold it, rack, and then let go, and then you can feel the reset. Alright guys, that's it. That's how to install the Super Scar Geissele trigger. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.